Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Hello everybody, I have just published a new column about the Hong Kong electoral decision by National People's Congress during the Liang Hui session in Beijing. In this column, I argue that Hong Kong decision by the NPC will transform Hong Kong into another Macao. This column argues that the electoral decision is about to bring major changes to the electoral system within Hong Kong, and this will stop the pro-democracy figures from entering Legislative Council through the elections. The NPC wants to empower the election committee with figures who China considers to be patriots, figures who can do China's bidding in Hong Kong, and that will help China to have more assertive influence in Hong Kong and also stop the pro-democracy figures from taking over the Legislative Council. The decision itself comes at a time when there is quite a bit of uncertainty about Hong Kong's future, and there are big questions about Hong Kong and its one country, two system model that China has allowed over these years to prosper. I would say China is looking at this whole crisis in Hong Kong and also the COVID-19 pandemic as an opportunity to bring about changes which will be in favor of Beijing and to end the long going pro-democracy movement, which has had a huge influence over Hong Kong society and its place in the world. China definitely wants to bring an end to that, and that's where we are. If you speak to somebody in mainland China, they will tell you that it was a matter of time before China moved into Hong Kong and brought to an end the pro-democracy movement that has been picking up pace since 2019. This is a narrative you will time and again hear from all the citizens of China, as I did from somebody living outside of China, and they told me that in China, if you speak to anybody, they will tell you the same thing, that even beyond 2047, there was no possibility for China to allow Hong Kong to have this sort of autonomous status. But the pro-democracy movement in Hong Kong is not over yet. Leading pro-democracy figures have left for London, Washington, D.C., and some of the other major capitals around the world. And they are lobbying local politicians in those countries to take action against the PRC. And the movement goes on, I would say. Currently there are major figures, media figures, as well as politicians who are under trial by China in Hong Kong. These figures are charged with the national security law for their participation in the 2019 Hong Kong protest. And these figures are fighting back. So I would say the movement is still quite alive, but there is a major challenge to the pro-democracy movement in Hong Kong because of the electoral decision. But I would also say that given the context of US-China Cold War, Hong Kong will be a key city in that if the tensions between US and China grow further into an adversarial relationship between the two countries, there is a possibility that Hong Kong could be more like East and West Germany as seen during the First Cold War. I will encourage you to look at the resources in my article. There is a link to NPC Observer where they explain the context of this decision by NPC. And this is a great resource to understand China's legal system and any type of new laws that China comes up with.